For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, 30 minutes of time-wasting fun. And I've got a question for you. Come closer. Listen carefully. Are you a happy customer? Pretty simple question, right? Just the last time that you were at, the coffee shop or the grocery store or a restaurant, did you leave there feeling special? Was it kind of just I don't know, nothing really stood out to me? Or were you just so pissed off that you had to go on Facebook and do a rant about it? Do you find, I'm talking to the older folks here, my generation, do you find that customer service over the past, let's say 10 years, has just gone down the drain? It's not like what it used to be, is it? Well, we're going to examine that coming up on the show. Stick around, it starts on The Scribble right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now, it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Something that we can all agree on is customer service ain't what it used to be. And I think that we actually had an episode of the show called that before, because I just when you think, it can't get any worse. And sorry, by the way, now it's called it's a customer experience. It's not customer service anymore. They've kicked it up a notch. They want it to be that much more memorable. Well, I think it is, but for all the wrong reasons. And it's getting worse because, A&E even has a show called Customer Wars, where they've essentially compiled all these YouTube clips, these viral videos from the internet, and kind of packaged them into 30-minute shows. And, part of it is people are losing their shit too easily, or want to have that viral moment, or want to, have their way and won't hear anything else. But then at the same time, the customer experience, I don't think is getting any better. And, I think back to when I worked in retail, and this is why also I would never want to have a front-facing, public service job again, because everybody has those, phone-in-your-face confrontations, and I'm just like, I ain't got no time for that. No. And secondly, I'm also the type of person who it's like, well, I'll be that employee that tells you off again too, if I'm just really, really pushed that far. But truly, so when I worked in retail, it was, I sold luggage, I sold clothing, I was an assistant manager at Party City. This is going back 20 years ago. And I just remember part of our training in retail was politeness. I actually remember saying to one of my, to the store manager, I said to her, I think we should also focus on, training them on the products, right? There's a lot that goes into helium balloons, how to take care of them, how to make sure how they last longer. With some of the Halloween costumes, some of them had just really intricate, designs or props or whatever it was. You should also be training, and sometimes they were just seasonal staff too, so you didn't want to invest that much time in it. But it was really about how to interact with the customers. I don't know if it was Party City, but one of the jobs we were essentially told you can't say no to a customer. You can you're telling them no without using the word, basically. So you have to almost sort of delicately, you could say things like, unfortunately, it's not something we can do at this time, rather than saying, no, we can't. So I understand that just even from a communications perspective. That's very, I don't even know what the word would be. It's not coercion. Well, anyway, so I just remember there being a lot of training on that in one of my jobs, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool though. Rather than saying no, right, you have that, you sort of soften it, because as soon as the customer hears no, they kind of have that immediate reaction of like, oh. But it's just, I don't think that, I think there's a bunch of things, right? There isn't necessarily the training. There isn't that focus on the customers first. If it's a call center job, it's a matter of getting the people on and off the phone as quickly as possible. But when it comes to something like that, have you found that it actually takes longer to get answers or service or help when you call in for whether it's tech support or, a billing question, whatever? Like, I feel like I'm always on the phone for like 45 minutes. Because I'm going in circles, or I'm being put on hold all the time. And it's like, well, why? Now, people have said it's because things are outsourced, it's overseas, there's language barriers, you're having to repeat yourself. There's so many verification steps now to make sure that it's you on the account. You've got to remember your PIN, your password, your last 4 digits, your, birth hospital name, like all these things. So there's that element too. But I'm one of those customers now who I kind of dread things. If something needs to be fixed or replaced or whatever at the house, or if we've got to make a major purchase for, an appliance or something, I just dread being a customer. Being a customer is exhausting now. And I'll tell you, I was leading into a story, so I might as well just cut to the chase and get to it now. So we have, there's several trees on our property, and one of them we want to get looked at. It needs to be like trimmed and kind of we want some advice from a tree removal company. And so the other night I had just messaged a bunch of them. I went to their websites, clicked on the button for like requesting a quote, and I just said like, you fill in your name, your address, whatever. And I basically said, we've got a tree that we want taken care of. But I'd like to send you pictures though, just so that you know which one I'm talking about, whatever. Where can I send it? What's the email I can send it to? There wasn't a form, an attachment that you could put on the form. And so I was like, all right, sent off a bunch of those and then called it a night. So I wake up the next morning, at the crack of 10, as we do in our house, and I was getting ready. Husband was going to the gym. It was now 10:30. I left the house, and as I'm walking out, I see that there's something in the mailbox. I was like, all right, whatever. So I go, and it's a quote from one of the tree companies. And I thought, well, this is weird, first of all, because from last night to 10 this morning, they were already giving a quote. So there's that speed, which you appreciate. But then I thought, I didn't tell them, what are they quoting on? Like, they don't know. I didn't give any specifics. It was like, let me know how I can tell you or show you which tree it is. So I look and I open it, I didn't open it then. I went to the store. So I'm like, I took the envelope with me and I go and get to the grocery store. I just needed a couple things. Wasn't doing a big shop. And so I did that. And then about an hour later, it was like 11:40 something. I go to a sub restaurant. I'm not going to name it, but I went to a sub restaurant because I felt like eating fresh. And I placed my order up at the counter, and then as they're making it and, finishing up everything, I took the napkins and whatever to the table. I went all the way back to the table. I notice my canvas bag, like from the store, was gone. And I look around, there's barely anybody in here. It wasn't stolen. Like, where did it go? What happened? Turns out an employee who's going around cleaning threw it out. And I just thought, wait a second. So it wasn't even that you were going to put it aside or put it behind the counter or whatever. You fucking threw it in the garbage. Like, and it wasn't anything, I didn't have any like big items. There wasn't like boxes of cereal and stuff. I mean, it was just kind of a smaller item. So maybe she didn't realize that something was in it. I don't even know. But I was just like, wow, okay. So that pissed me off. And so then as I'm sitting down, I go and I look and I was like, okay, well, here's this quote for the absolute wrong tree. So basically they just wasted their time and paper or whatever, sending somebody to quote. And so that just, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then as I'm sitting there just finishing up lunch, the phone rang, and it was another tree company, one of them that I'd reached out to. And it was this guy, I just remember his name, Chris. I don't know why. Oh, hi, it's Chris from such and such company. Yeah, we've actually got a guy at your place right now. but he lost the information on the work. What was it that you were wanting again? And I thought, okay, sorry, wait a second. So you were dispatching somebody, and when he gets there, he doesn't know why he's going there, what he's doing, what this is about. And secondly, same thing was, I didn't tell you what it was. I was waiting for a reply. Oh, you can email it to info@blah, blah, blah, or email it to our owner at whatever. That's because I took pictures with the tree, and I circled the tree. I circled and what part of the tree kind of we wanted. We don't want the entire thing removed, but we just wanted some of it. So I was going to physically, you didn't even have to come. You didn't even have to come and look. You could have just looked at the picture. But nobody gave me the opportunity to send the photo or photos. I took a couple different angles, and it was just very strange to me. So I can appreciate the speed of giving me the quote or having somebody come. It just sucks that nobody was at home when the guy was there, because if we were home, we could have just gone into the backyard and it's here's the tree. So I was pissed off about those things. So then after, and by the way, they ended up giving me the wrong tree quote. I don't know if I mentioned that already. So there's two companies that, one didn't know which tree, and then two, one of the companies didn't even know why they were showing up at my property. They were just given my address, I guess. And so I was like, oh my God, this is hopeless. Now it's a little bit after 12 o'clock. So like I said, I left the house at about 10:30. So I've been a customer that day for all of 2 hours. I had to go then to just a dollar store just to quickly grab something, that wasn't thrown out from my bag. And they have those self-checkout things, right? And all the time that always just goes to shit. And I'm one of those people who it's I don't work here. I'm not throwing the tantrum. I'm not stomping my feet and going, no, I refuse to do it. If the the self-checkout is open, I'll go and do it. But I am not lining up to ring through my own groceries. I'm not doing that. You're not gonna, I will line up for a cashier to do it for me, but I am not standing in line to then do the work myself. Does that make sense? If you've got 5 cashier checkouts there and only one of them open, and 5 self-checkouts with a lineup there, that ratio doesn't work for me. So that's where I'll take that stand. And I have gone through a store and said, can we get more cashiers up there? So I haven't made a scene, but I will say something. I will speak up and go, look, this is, and think about how much the customers just outnumber the staff right there anyway. But that's prime stealing ground for people. You've got one cashier who's busy, ringing people through, another one who's directing traffic, not paying attention to all 5 of the people who are ringing their own things through. And that's just, I would think that's, I don't know, if I was managing that store, I would make sure that we had more people up there. And that's just, again, out of a courtesy to customers, so that they're not having to wait and be pissed off. Back, again, at Party City, we had a rule that if there was you could have 2 people in line, as soon as a third person came, you had to call another cashier. And now, I don't know if that was something that the corporate office had, set up, but that was just something that we had implemented, maybe, where it was kind of no, we don't want people to wait. We're, in a store like this, right, Party City, fun, happy, silly, playful, colorful, bright, that's the last thing that you want, is people standing there just getting pissed off buying party supplies, And that was, I think it was maybe just something we did internally, but I don't know. Anyway, but the bottom line was the focus was on that customer service. So in that 2-hour stretch from 10:30 when I left the house to about 12:30 by the time I went to the dollar store, it was okay, the restaurant threw out my bag. 2 tree companies screwed up their quotes, didn't even do things the right way. One of them didn't even know what the hell they were doing. And then the dollar store having to ring the things through, and the guys having to come up and override the error messages. And finally I just said for him to do it. And so just in that 2-hour block, it made me go and say, I don't want to go to another store. I don't even want the tree taken care of. I don't want to do anything. Now this is where you're going to say, oh, you're whining and being a Karen. I'm going to hear white privilege, I'm sure, as well. But that's not the point. I'm just saying that it's not a simple thing anymore to be a customer. It's not just as simple as, hey, I need a quote, you come and check it out, or, give me, no. Or even just, I just ring the groceries through, or ring the stuff through at the store, because now I've got to do it. And then I've got to wait for assistance. It's it doesn't work for me. It's not working for me. So yeah, there's a part of me that just kind of wants to go and say, yeah, just keep it as simple as possible. And then, so I get home, and my husband he does the gym for about 2 hours. So then, we kind of arrived home at the same time. And I was sort of grumbling, kind of, in a pissy mood. And he's like, what happened? What's wrong? And I said, it was just a bunch of little things, but it was because it was all customer service related. That's, I think, what made it worse. Different if you have, you stub your toe and then traffic is bad and then the grocery store is sold out of something. Like, those are all different things, right? But this was all just every time I'm being a customer, I'm just being hit with it and hit with it and hit with it. Again, I realize in the grand scheme of things, there are far bigger things to worry about. That's why I'm saying. That's why I didn't go on any big Karen rants at a store. That's why I didn't tell off any employees. That would be taking it to the extreme. But I'm just saying, like, it's all those reasons why it's like, fuck, and we need to get part of our roof, like new shingles on our roof or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this again. Like, we can't even get a fucking tree looked at. Why do I, a roof is a little bit more, it's a little bit more involved, right? So, I don't know. Tell me if you feel that customer service is just going to shit nowadays. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. When it comes to customer service, tips. You know where I'm going with this one. I'm going to talk about that on the Scribble right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today, 800-319-0582.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Does it seem like you're being asked for a tip more and more and more and more these days? Does it? I went for dinner with my cousins a couple of days ago, and we did a girls' night, and it was really fun because we were just laughing up a storm. We totally lost track of time. It was just a really good vibe. And at the very beginning, when we sat down, the server actually, you know what? We actually didn't get greeted right away. Now that I think about it, we went into the lounge of a pizza restaurant, and coincidentally, one of my cousins actually works for the corporate office, which was sort of funny because she wanted to get the gal's name who barely paid attention to us. Now, I can appreciate a server sort of keeping their distance and not interrupting the fun. I hate it. I hate being checked on. How are the first couple bites? Is everything okay? Okay, great, thank you. And then it's like they're just doing laps. They're doing their rounds like they're a nurse checking on people. And so it's like, things were fine. I'm now 6 bites in, but it's still okay. Thank you for checking. I'm now 14 bites in. Thank you again. Appreciate it. And my drink was empty and I kind of almost had to like clink the glass and just, we weren't offered water. Like there was just a bunch of things where the person wasn't really attentive. And how often do we hear now that servers are, they're not, especially during the pandemic, right? When, they were wanting 18%, 20% tip. Now the default on the machine when they hand you the terminal is, 15, 18, 20, 25%, 30%. If I see 30%, fuck you on that. Damn right. I'm not the one who's paying the staff here. They're not working for me. They're working for you. Restaurant owner, franchise owner, whatever it is, you pay your fucking staff. That's not my job. And that seems to be the debate, though, right? Where you'll have quite a few customers who will have that compassion sort of for the servers, and people who will go and say, I was a server, so I know what it's like. I understand. I'm sorry. And I worked in a restaurant. I worked at Red Lobster when I was 17, I guess I was. And I wasn't a server. I worked in the kitchen. I made more in the kitchen than the servers did, but again, they also worked on tips. So people who've worked in a serving position will go and say, oh, I know what it's like. And they might tip a little bit more because, again, they know what it's like. And it's very strange to me because I don't want to go and say that it's not an easy job. It's not a hard job. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you have to, depending on the restaurant, you either write down the order on a piece of paper and then you punch it into a computer, or you have a tablet and you put it onto a tablet and you walk away. Your job is walking around, bringing me a glass, bringing me a plate, taking away a glass, taking away a plate, bring me another glass. And that's kind of the extent of the job. I was talking about the training of play. I mean, the training in a restaurant should be about the food, right? About the menu, the drinks, whatever it might be. But what is the training? Here's how you walk. Here's how you walk to a table. Here's how you, in some restaurants, you've got the girls that are wearing the skin tight black with their tits hanging in your face because, again, they're going to be flirty and they want more, tips. Like, so you dress like a slut in this restaurant and the men will tip you more. I mean, I always love that too, especially when I go to a restaurant with my husband, they don't realize it's like, yeah, we're both fags. You can put the tits away. We're not, that's not for us. But it's like, again, the tipping thing. So when I was out with my cousins, I kind of thought, okay, there's three of us here. If we each give her, like $3 something or whatever, we each had different bills. So if I gave $3, you gave $3, okay, so we're giving her like $10 for really basically just coming to our table every now and then. That's still, I think, just too much. I mean, at the end of the day, she kind of really ignored us. And so, but that's where people will go and say, like, you base your tip on the level of service. And I thought a customer is a customer is a customer. So it doesn't matter if I just have like one appetizer or if I have every course plus dessert plus coffee plus, whatever. I mean, I'm still a customer. So you're going to be nice, or you should be nice to me just because I'm a customer. Not because I'm having another drink, and now my bill's going up, and now that is going to dictate how much I tip you. You didn't mix the drink, you just walked over from the bar to give it to me. So why does that make me have to, like, am I having to just pay per drink now? Oh, she brought me another one, so there's another $1 I got to add, and oh, there's another 50 cents I got to add on. It doesn't work that way. And so people are going to go and say, well, you've got, I do have a lot of money. I do. But at the same time, I'm not going and tipping every single person who has an interaction with me at a store or some kind of a business. At the sub restaurant, which again, I'm not going to name it, but there's a tip that you want to tip your sandwich artist. And I was just like, really? All you did was like, go, you put the cucumber, you put the lettuce, you put the, whatever. And that was it. And now you want another $2 on top of it? That's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Sure, like I said, you're going to have those generous people that are like, oh, they're so underpaid. Yeah, that's not our problem, though. That's not my problem as the customer. It's not. It's not my nope. Not my problem. Not my problem. And secondly, if you want to work for shitty money, then that's on you as well. I mean, we saw the pandemic open up so many job opportunities, so many career changes, so many whatever. That's when people kind of took that stand en masse and quit because, I'm underappreciated, I'm overworked, and blah, blah. Well, I mean, I'm grateful that people took that moment to better their lives and feel like they are worth more and deserve better. Absolutely, And I mean, that's probably why I was fired from almost every job that I had back in the day, because I would not shoot my mouth off, but I would speak my mind and, be vocal about things that I was happy about and things that I wasn't. So that's not my problem that you're working in a service industry where you're paid $3 an hour. I mean, if you can't get by on that, then either get another job, get a different job. That's kind of it. Like, I don't understand why the customer has to feel bad for other employees, like for workers. That's not our concern. It's not. But I mean, if you make it your concern, then okay, right? So tell me what your thoughts are on this whole tipping thing. Is it getting out of control? And what I've seen on message boards, or not a message, how old am I? The comment section, like on news stories or, news websites or even, I guess, on Facebook posts, is you'll have a lot of people going and saying, as soon as they see on the default being, 18, 20, or 15, 18, 20, 30% as tip, people say as soon as they see that, it's zero. And that's a message to the management of saying, nope, you're greedy like this, it's going to affect your employees. That's what it is. You're going to get a big zero from me. And then you also have people that go and say, well, the server's standing right there while you're doing it, so you kind of feel like you have to give something because it's intimidating and it's awkward and there's that pressure to do it. You're almost being strong-armed into it because they're standing right there. And there's always this, so what are your plans for the rest of the day? And that's when they're super friendly, and because they're wanting to make you happy and feel as you're paying, right? Because now, oh well, she's making conversation with me, so I might as well just add a little bit more because she's so friendly. She's great. Love the tits, by the way. Love the tits. I mean, that's just no. So, it's just weird. Bonnie Winters, we had a discussion. She's not gonna participate in this discussion, but we were talking about grocery delivery and how I said, you've got service fee. There was one that you had a heavy item fee when I ordered dog food one time, and I was just sort of confused as to why I'd have to pay an extra $2 or $3 because somebody had to lift something. Oh darn! Now there's a service fee on that. It went away, by the way, on Instacart, but it was there. I think I got a screenshot of it at one point. And so Bonnie even said that. She's like, why are you going to tip somebody like, $8 or $9 just because they ended up walking around a store? I mean, they chose to do that job if you didn't like it. And the one that I can't stand, I think it's DoorDash, where the default when we ordered something that was like $30 or $40, whatever, we ordered a meal or we did something at home. And yeah, the default was like $8 or $9 for the driver. And I just thought, I'm one of those people who I will mock up the order in the app. So whether it's, fast food or whatever we're doing, or even a grocery order. And if all of a sudden, like the fees and everything, I'm not a math person, but I'll just go and look, okay, if my actual, like my subtotal on the order is $15 and I get through like the checkout and all that other stuff, and I see the all the fees and taxes and whatever, if the price is doubled, if it's now close to $30, I just leave. And that's when Uber Eats starts sending you all those things, right? That's when you get the, oh, did you forget something? Hey, come back. Lower your fees and I'll come back, you greedy assholes. That's really what it is. So I can't justify, ordering like, let's say a $10, burger meal or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden it comes to $27. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Find a way to make your money elsewhere, apps and restaurants and drivers, and because every time somebody gets a cut, right, you're just now adding another $1, $2 or whatever it is. And, again, you sort of feel, Uber Eats was the one that actually said the other day when it was raining or something, and they're trying to guilt you in like, Sarah's driving through the rain right now to get your meal. Oh, be patient. Sarah's battling the rain to get to your door. And I looked outside and I was like, it's not fucking raining at all. It was like half hour ago. But even that, where it's like, oh, be generous, tip her well, she's getting wet in the rain. Well, that's too fucking bad for Sarah, isn't it? I mean, Sarah should get a different fucking job then, if you're trying to just get me to tip more. And so at that point, I'm just kind of like, yeah, no, Uber Eats, you ruined it for Sarah. You ruined it for Sarah. Your fees, your delivery fee, your service fee, your heavy lifting fee, all that, you're ruining it for your drivers, not me. Not me. No. And then on the flip side, you'll have people going and saying, well, that's the convenience of using the app like that. Well, then find a different business model. And instead of having us supplement the income of all the people that are working down the chain in this. Really, that's what that's. And then we can also say that these are billion-dollar companies, multi-million-dollar companies. Their CEOs don't need to be making $4, $5, $6, $7, $10, $12, $14 million a year. They don't. It's not my problem either. Not my problem. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com.
JB here, back on the Scribble. Once again, that email address, live@jbonair.com. I just have this feeling I'm going to be hearing from restaurant servers. I just have this feeling. live@jbonair.com. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is the Scribble. Again, I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @thescribbleshow. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some